This is Channing Humphrey with Semi Pro Live, and we are back for another one of our uh, unique events, man. We're putting on the first ever CCE live draft. I've got a person I've got to know a little bit better over the last couple of months. I've got Courtney Jackson, head coach of DEA, and also the creator and founder of CCE. So I just want to go ahead and introduce Coach Jackson in here, and I just want to let our audience get a little bit more information about you as a person and as a coach, and then we'll go ahead and get into the draft. So, man, let me know what's the story behind how you created this event and what was the idea behind it.
Well, I appreciate you guys for having me, and I know it's been eventful, but a little bit stressful. Shout out to all the mothers and anybody who's been affected with breast cancer, or any form of cancer. Y'all see, I'm wearing my pink today, so I don't want nobody teasing
Looking
me too.
nice.
It's for a good cause. I'm definitely trying to do some things each and every week at school or something in that nature. In regards to CCE, we've been around for a little while now. This will be our X year coming up in 2022. It'll be our 10th year. Started in 2012, and it'll be 10 years at that point in time. And we've grown exponentially. And I think that we've kind of, from a standpoint, changed the narrative on how people look at youth sports and, with all things that we've done. You go back to hosting tournaments, to doing media with kids, to having combines, to 7-on-7 when it wasn't primarily put in the southern sector or in, you wouldn't see too many people of color playing 7-on-7, but we had the talent to play it. And then going from there to doing college camps on the college campuses, and with our magazine of ranking kids and hosting national games to the creme de la creme of all of it, which is our T Pass, our Top Prospect All Star Series. I think is one of no other as far as true All Star games of looking and trying to seek out the best kids from across the country, bringing them in and trying to instill in them to compete. I mean, that being the number one skill we want everybody to have is to compete and go after yours, showcase your talent, learn how to play with other great players, learn how to learn from other greats. Because believe it or
Most
not, no matter how
definitely.
great you are, you can definitely learn from other people. And from a coaching standpoint, it's been great seeing men that normally compete against one another. We don't believe in just having one head coach. We try to have 2 to 3 head coaches all coming together collectively and creating a great roster to be able to mentor these kids and help these kids ultimately reach the goals that they want to reach in life. Many of them saying that they want to have football be a conduit, be a vehicle for them to um, take care of their family and just have a better way of living, playing the games that they love. So we want to do what we can to help them do that.
All right, Coach. Just to change gears, this is I'm new into the youth sports world. This is going to be our first full season of youth sports ever. So, as someone new on the scene, you get to hear from parents. They're different reputations from different organizations, different football teams, different tournaments, different events like yourself. CC is one of those events that I haven't really heard a parent who had a negative impression. Most of the kids loved it. It's a memorable time. So what kind of advice could you give for putting on a tournament or holding an event or doing anything for 10 years at a high quality? And what are some of your tips for keeping it at that level? And what are some of the
Well,
tactics you used?
Well, honestly, I mean, there are some negative comments, man. I think that's in any business, and those are the ones I hear the most. We're constantly trying to. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a people person, and I truly am someone who doesn't run from anything that I've done wrong or anything that I promised. I definitely try to make amends for that and make it be right. We 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 truly try to make it be an event that kids should want to do every year and definitely want to do every year. It's an experience like no other. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up, last year, most All Stars charge a amount of money, and whatever they charge, they charge. And so we try to keep our prices below that. We try to make it be affordable because we do know that some of our best players sometimes cannot afford. And then at the end of the day, man, we're in a situation where people have been laid off from work and everything, and times are hard. So even this year, we're coming up with some fundraisers for the parents so that they can be able to raise enough money not only for them to get out here and their kids to be able to get the maximum package, but also to be able to cover hotels and with our calendars that we're going to be doing. So you pay a deposit, and then once you pay your deposit, you're able to then get a fundraiser calendar that can be able to that you can be able to do for 2 different months, and that money will go to paying for flights if necessary or hotels that can get you out here and it won't just necessarily dig into your pockets. But what we offer and what we're doing, and there's things that I would say answering that question, we just do a lot of things geared for the kid, man. We have a mini combine where the kids come out here and they're going to get to run the 40s for time, on
Okay.
electronic time. They're going to get verticals, height, weight. We'll have a skills competition day where we'll do a little bit of 7-on-7. We'll also have a quarterback challenge that was awesome last year, a lineman challenge, and we have a big man relay. We have a little man tug of war, a big man tug of war. We just do, and that's not even counting the games that we play. Most all-star games don't give you multiple games. And in our thing, sometimes the winners will play 3 games and walk away with 2 rings, and abundance of gear
So
from
you try to make it an all-encompassing event.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
just a game. It's not just going out to have a football experience. You're going to meet coaches. You can get high-level training, and your kids are going to have a memorable time. This is going to be something that they're going to want to do yearly.
No doubt, no doubt. And that's what it's about. And if I wish I could bring on some parents and they could tell you on how they go to, people go to games now, and it might be an Oklahoma or I-35 boys playing against a team out of Dallas or Houston, and after the game, it's 3 or 4 kids taking a picture together from different teams. And
Yeah.
people don't understand, why do they know each other and why are they walking around with each other after the game? They're supposed to be nemesis. But these 2 kids have been playing together in CCE for 3 or 4 years. I hear numerous stories about how they link up and they're playing all the video games online together and stuff like that. And so that camaraderie, I think, is going to move on into kids with recruitment later in years when
So
they
you're
start
building
getting.
an athletic community.
And yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked seeing kids that from different states trying to link up to go play together in college.
Hopefully so, man. Hey, I'm all for the players having more power. But I could talk about you all day, man. We got to get to the stars of the show. The
Yeah, that's
kids, you
what
know
I
how we
want to
do
do.
it.
That's
Well,
what
hey,
I'm
Chris,
ready
I'm going to
for.
let you go ahead and start it. Well, we're going to go ahead and get it started off. Let me look over to my beautiful producer. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this draft started. Now, before we get started, I want everyone at home to know these draft picks are not in any particular order. Okay, this is just. Man, I'm sorry about this, folks. I dropped my microphone. These are random picks. These are just the kids who are on the teams, and the teams have been selected. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got quarterback Tashard Brown from Providence, Rhode Island. And that team money.
This is all team money picks right here.
All right, so let's go ahead and go down the list. We've got Tashard Brown. We got Trenton Fulcrum, I believe.
Frankham, Trenton Frankham out of Huntsville.
Frankham. Okay. We got Tristan Bill, Spencer Murray. We've got Cameron Ramirez, a DA, one of your very own. We got Charlie Moore, Chase Lewis, Montre Jackson. And you might have to turn my mic down a little bit. Christian Gonzalez, Noah
No, you
Gonzalez.
skipped Jaden
Oh,
Johnson.
Jaden Johnson. Let me give a correction. Jaden Johnson out of San Diego. We got Keyshawn Jackson, DEA running back linebacker. We got Darius White, and he's a player from the Truth Elite out of GA. We've got Caleb Cruz, another DEA kid. Jaden Taylor, TCU. We got Tamar Palmer. I hope now, any parent, if I mispronounce your kid's name, I'm going to go back and make them a special graphic. So please don't kill me. I'm big on making sure people's names, pronunciations are correct. All right, then we're going to go ahead and get back to the list. We've got Jaden Cotton of the DFW Ravens. We've got Kyler Childs of the West Texas Tigers. I actually gotten a chance to see him up close and personal. We've got Russ Lewis from New Orleans. We've got Landon Andrews out of San Antonio. He's a wide receiver DB. We got Brendan, and I don't want to mispronounce your last name.
Brandon
you got a coach? Brandon Goudreau. All right, out of Louisiana, he plays wide receiver and DB. And we got Javon Hammond, and he's out of Abilene. Javion Hammond out of Abilene. Shout out to the lean. I went to Cisco. All right, we got Jaden Bradford out of West Texas. Is that West Texas Pride? I have an abbreviation, but he's a defensive end. We've got Bubba Snail out of the DFW. Is that DFW Elite?
Bubba Snail. He didn't play. He's not playing Little League football this year.
Okay.
So some of the kids, when they don't play, because I don't know everybody's middle school, I'll just list them by a city or a metroplex. He's actually out of the Waxahachie area. That's why I said DFW, greater DFW area.
Well, he's in a great system down there in Waxahachie. Their high school team's having quite the season right now. But let's go ahead and get back to the list. So we have Aaron Moore out of Louisiana. And we've got Lee Reeves. And he's a scat back, defensive back out of Houston, Texas.
Yeah, you know, those scat backs are those guys that can be third down backs. They're probably going to mature into being a receiver, a slot receiver.
Yes.
But they're so good with the ball in their hands in space. So I call them scat backs so that offensive coordinators who don't know a lot about each kid can kind of know what this kid probably brings to the table.
Hey, that's a term of endearment. You could be calling him a possession receiver, which is a nice way of saying you're slow.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving. So we got Free John Robinson, love the name, out of Oklahoma. He's an O-line, B-line. We've got Aiden Flick Anderson, Alexanderson. Alexander, let me pronounce it correctly. And he's a wide receiver. We got Chase Flores. He's another offensive defensive lineman. We've got Arturo Jr., and he is a defensive lineman, offensive lineman, along with Robert Lewis, and he's an athlete. And ending our list will be Franklin Evans Jr. He's a running back for the Comets.
Cedar Crest Comets.
Cedar Crest, okay, those are my guys. Now, before we go forward, I want to remind everybody at home that this list was not done in any particular order at all. So this is a randomized list. This does not insinuate the value of the players in any way. The teams haven't actually practiced, so I can't tell you who's the starting quarterback or the starting running back. This is the team as assembled. So we're going to go ahead and move on down to the next team.
Do we get to talk about this draft at all?
Let's get the comments. And let's get the coaches as well. Okay. So let's get the coaching staff for this one is going to be, we've got Coach Ears. Okay, we got my very own Coach Ears. Hey, I got the privilege of playing football with my boy for 10 years, I believe. So not only is he a great coach, he's a dog off the field. We got Coach Don Hyde, and in a weird coincidence, he's been one of my coaches in semi-pro for about 10 years. And then we've got Coach Brad. He's the one coach that I don't know personally, but I'll get to know him over the tournament. So tell us about these coaches and what behind them being selected.
Well, man, Don Hyde is one of the most revered minds in football. You know, you can't tell him that to his face because it probably will blow his head up so big that he'll be floating like a hot air balloon or something like that.
He can screen record this.
But he puts together systems that can be used and can be learned pretty quickly and be utilized in all-star games. I like Coach Ears' energy. I think he's
Most
somebody
definitely.
that kids will gravitate to, and he's doing a great job with that Crimson Tide 12U team. And then you got Coach Brad coming out of Louisiana, knowing a lot of those kids. He's done CCE for a couple years. Um, I think they finished fourth last year with the team he was on. So we definitely want to see if this group can make something happen
That was
and at least
definitely a
be in
good
that championship game
mix. I
and try
like
to
the
be in that
difference.
championship game.
Oh, I'm sorry, Coach.
I like their draft, though. I like their draft. Of course, I could be a little bit biased. I saw a lot of three-letter kids on there. You know, the first letter being D, next letter being an E, and the following letter being an A. And I'm always partial to those kids. But let me tell you something, man. If I can just go down through the list with their group of quarterbacks, you got Trenton Frankham. He's a redhead assassin out of Huntsville, who is somebody who's been slept on. I'm gonna be honest, I slept on him. His mother and father have been telling me for the last couple of years, Trent's a hell of a quarterback, but he's been such a great linebacker for me. I just could never see him going to quarterback, but he's
It
made that
happens like
transition
that.
seamlessly. And you have to give him being somebody that I know everybody knows about and reveres. Tristan Bill can sling the ball, and then you have the newcomer out of Rhode Island, folks. This is a new state. This is the kid. I love when those kids come in from different areas because they're coming in here and they're really wanting to see what Texas football and South football is like, and they have a chip on their shoulder and they're trying to show it all. So I can imagine that QB competition is going to be fierce. And then you look at the running backs, man. You're talking about running backs where you have the power back out of Georgia, Darius White. He's a top 25 kid ranked in my magazine, folks. Big thighs, strong, runs the ball hard. And then you accompany him with backs like Keyshawn Jackson, who I feel is arguably one of the top 5 backs in the country in my eyes. Um, and then you have playmakers like Caleb Cruz, who's a lockdown defender. Jaden Taylor is somebody out of the Fort Worth area at TCU, man, who is nice. He's nice with it. He's a taller, angular receiver who I see being somebody that everybody wants. And then you look at Landon Andrews being tied with him. Jaden Bradford is a defensive end that hunts the quarterback in his sleep. Aiden Flick is another kid um, who is nice from Georgia. But the sleeper pick of this whole draft was the kid named Bubba Snail. He's
Okay.
almost 3'6'4". He's a kid that has to play up age wise, but because we're doing grade wise, he'll be playing with his grade of seventh graders, and he's
Mm.
dominated. He's dominated the eighth grade group the last 2 years, the 2026 group. So him being able to play in the 2027 group, he's an automatic double. He's an automatic double, and then they got good linemen. They got good linemen. You got
That was gonna
Cameron
be my next
Perez,
thing.
one of mine. You got Spencer Murray, who's somebody who's always been solid. Um, and then they went and got Arturo and Chase Flores, two other solid linemen, along with Javion Hammonds. They got some good linemen. And this is going to be a good team. It's going to be a real good team. And they got the big lineman from the Sun Devils, Chase Lewis. So it's going to be a good
Oh,
team with
now
a
is
good
that the
system.
Sun Devils down in South Texas?
Yeah, Galveston
Oh,
County.
that's my dog, man. Shout
Yeah,
out to
Galveston
Chase.
County. They do a damn good job of coaching down there, and they have a bunch of talent, bunch of it. So it's going to be real good seeing those kids be able to interact with other kids, come in there and compete for it on team money.
Now, what I do like about those South Texas athletes, their younger teams aren't as competitive as they could be, but they develop well. So by the time they get to the 11U, the 10U, the 11U, the 12U ages, most of the time they're dogs. Like they teach them very well down there. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next group of young men. So this is gonna be for Team Hustle 2022.
Yeah.
And I love my iPhone today. It is not letting me get the list. Okay, I got it right here. All right, so before we get started, these picks are not in any particular order. These are at random, but these are the kids who have been selected. So we're going to go ahead and start. We have Lorenzo. He will be a quarterback, and he's from the Galveston County Sun Devils, so another one of my South Texas guys. We got Deshaun Edwards. He plays quarterback for the DFW Ravens. Then we're going to have, now I believe it's Zypher. Did I pronounce that correct?
Cryer.
Coach, one more time.
Zypher Cryer. And I might
Zypher
be pronouncing
Cryer.
it wrong, but I just can say he can sling the ball, man. He can sling the ball, and he's out of Dallas.
Okay, we got a kid with a cannon out of the D-Town. So we got Darius White. He's an defensive lineman, DFW Ravens. And I'm looking down the list. The DFW Ravens have a couple of kids popping up on these teams.
Hey, man, DFW Ravens are arguably the best team in Texas. Pretty good coach in Terrence Bly. Good offensive coordinator. And that young man out there from Tennessee, Coach Wade. And they got a good team, man. And if you notice, when you read off this list, it's going to be 3 or 4 Ravens on here. Initially, this was supposed to be Terrence Bly coaching with the Sun Devils offensive coordinator.
Oh.
And
I see a lot of Sun Devils on this list as well.
Yeah, you can see that, it was quite a few taken in that draft. We limit how many they can get. And I think they stretched it right there to the limit.
Well, hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. In the words of the great Eddie Peach, R.I.P. But all right, let's get back to the game. Well, not the game, to the draft. So we're going to start back up with Braylon Johnson. He's another one of those big DFW Raven linemen. Mm-hmm. And then, not to be outdid, we got Xavier Wigfall. He's showing up for DEA. He's going to be holding it down at center. And then we've got Jordan Miller. He's of the South Texas Sun Devils. And then we got Jeremy Cooper, middle linebacker, tight end for the Pac Prime.
Yeah.
And then we've got linebacker Chase Alves. Go ahead, Coach.
Chase Alves.
Okay. Sorry about that. We got linebacker for the DFW Ravens making another appearance. And then, not to be outdone, we got Dylan Williams of the South Texas Sun Devils. Now, I don't know if it's South Texas Sun Devils. I just know every time I'm in South Texas when I see them. Yeah. Please correct me in the comments.
Not the Sun Devils out of RGV. They're the Galveston County Sun Devils.
Oh, okay, Galveston County. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I've had both of them. One of them is black, red, and white, and then the one of them has the black, red, and gold. Correct?
No, this team is maroon and gold. They're
maroon and gold.
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting waved by my producer to look into the camera, but I got to read off this list. Sorry about y'all. Okay. Then we've got Jalen Brewster. He's going to be playing defensive end and power back. Cedar Hill. He sounds like a lineman who's living the dream.
Man, and then can't tell him that, though. You cannot tell him that. I'm telling you.
They'll never accept it.
Oh, no.
Hey, man, you get a big check being a very athletic lineman.
Yeah.
Then we got Kamara Price. He's going to be playing running back linebacker from CBE. And then we've got Miguel Wilson. He's a running back / safety out of Alabama. And then we've got Trenton Yancey. He's from he's a wide receiver / free safety, one of your very own off the DEA.
Yep.
And then we've got Jamar Payne, and he's a wide receiver slash cornerback down south again with the Sun Devils. And then we've got Joseph Campbell. And he's a running back out of the Dfw Ravens, another one of those Dfw Ravens. And I'm going to say it. Actually, I'm going to let you get it, Coach.
Bacote. Azan Bacote.
Azan Bacote, he's a power back for the Texas Seminoles, a fine organization. And then we've got Brian Bowen Jr. He's a outside linebacker slash defensive end, so one of those hybrid guys that are very popular right now out of Louisiana. We've got Devon Garrett. He's an outside linebacker from Houston, Texas. Got some H-Town love going on. We got Luke. He's a wide receiver for the Sun Devils down there in South Texas. A lot of talent on that team. Tristan Shaw. He's I'm gonna look like this is a slot receiver slash kick returner. So I know he's a speedster. The fact that he didn't feel the need to put wide receiver on there. And then we got Nathaniel Keaton, an offensive lineman from the Oak Cliff Titans. I've gotten a chance to see him play before. Jerry Tip Stratton III, and he is an offensive lineman from the Elite Frog Unit. Shout out to him, man. Actually, I got a chance to see them earlier in the Battle of the Bag tournament. Some nice size and some athletic offensive linemen on that team. We got Price Demerson, slot kick returner for TCU. Look like they're trying to get a lot of speed on this team. That's the second athlete they've had on this list. We've got Zion Wiley. He's a cornerback out of Houston, Texas. Then we've got Jules Juju Carter. And he's a running back, outside linebacker for the NTX Bills. Oh, you know I got to turn to the side. Big shout out to the Bills. That's actually the organization that started the dripping. But let's go and get back to the list. We've got Cameron Booker. He's a defensive back out of, let me see.
Crimson Tide.
Okay, Crimson Tide. I'm sorry. My list was this big on the phone. I finally got it to adjust. So he's off of the Crimson Tide. Big shout out to Greeny and the Fort Worth Tide. And then we've got Roland's son. Well, I'm going to say Rawlings. I think that was hyphenated for his team. And he's off the Sun Devils. And then we've got Jaden Cook. He's a defensive lineman from Southeast. And then we've got Calvin Pat Brown, the third. And I like when they get to put them numbers at the end. He's a scat back slash rover. So for those at home, that means he's half linebacker, but he can cover. So he's quite the valuable athlete. And then we've got Pharrell Spencer. He's playing defensive end and center. He's got his eye on having a bag one day because those are two valuable positions. But, Coach, man, tell us more about this team that's been assembled.
Well, first of all, let me say this, man. Money Foreman and his brother, the Foreman twins, I saw them play when they were in high school. Good friend of mine, Jamar, took me down to watch them play. So, I went down there specifically just to watch those two high school kids play. I heard they were going to UT. Watched their career through college. One of them is still playing in the pros right now. But to take a young man who's still in his 20s and transition into calling plays and working with the youth has to be commended. I've coached against him twice. And that Sun Devils team is, as a unit, they've done a lot of great things, from being in the Texas Showcase and winning it to doing 7-on-7. And they are arguably one of the best teams in the country, definitely top 5 teams in the state. So seeing Mr. Payne, the only kid who scored against DEA twice, number 15, this kid is nice, man. He can go be
okay, he got stripes.
Corner. He can be a Division I corner. He can be a Division I receiver. He'll take your best receiver and he'll compete against them. Doesn't shy away from it. Then you look at the quarterbacks. When you got a Geary, but Gary is not big in stature, and it's not a guarantee he's going to play. But they still drafted him. But boy, is he accurate with the ball, and boy, is he savvy in the pocket. Then you have Deshaun Edwards with the DFW Ravens, and if you haven't seen the DFW Ravens, and you talk about
That's
their
the
offense,
squad to
you can
see.
talk about their running backs, you can talk about a lot of things, but to me, he's the engine. He is the wheels on that car, and in that car that makes them go. His legs and his ability to make plays and extend plays, what makes him really, really dangerous. It makes that team be an even more dangerous team to play because of his talents. And then you got Cryer, who has a big arm with the quarterbacks. When you talk about linemen, they have arguably two linemen that I would say, from ranking, there are top 20 in the country, top 20 linemen in the country. They have two of them on their team, and Justice Wright and Big Braylon. Those two kids, I mean, they've been synonymous with CCE and rankings, and they're big time. Jalen Brewster. Let me tell y'all something. Jalen Brewster might be one of the top 5-star players in the class of 2027. You're talking about a kid who's 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, that can run as if he was a running back, because he does play running back. But his dad is probably 6'6", 6'7", played in the NFL as a lineman, and we all believe that he's going to be a good lineman.
Good DNA. Well, Chris, do we freeze up on us? Wait, man, we're going to go ahead and take some comments while we go ahead and get Chris back on here. So we're going to scroll back up. We got Coach Ears. You see his coach, right? We got Elvis Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez is on Team Money. Yes, he is. And then we got the DEA Dragons, number 88. We got Groach. And then we've got Money 2026. Let's go. Well, that was just some of the comments. He said, that's what I want to see my son go against, where he's at. Hey, all right. Well, he's already got a little bit of competition starting to brew up. Let's see. We got Courtney back in here.
No, but if you want, we can go to Team Power.
It's all right. But, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and start Team Power. Actually, let me make sure that I introduce all of the coaches from Team Hustle before we move on next. The coaches for Team Hustle will be Coach Eddie, Coach Foreman, and Coach Derek. That will round up your coaches. But we're going to move on to Team Power. We're going to work on getting Courtney back into the stream. But just to start off with Team Power, I'm going to introduce the coaches. We're going to have Sean Houston. We have Coach Brewer and Coach Randall Caraway. All right, and let's get into what all the parents have been waiting for. We've got Peyton Houston. He's going to be the quarterback. He's the quarterback of DEA. We got Damon Green Jr. He's quarterback for the Texas Seminoles. I'm going to take a quick pause just in case Coach is listening to me on another device. Go ahead and disconnect from the stream and reconnect back in. We'll probably be able to add you in pretty flawlessly.
You got me?
Let's get back. Oh, we got you back. All right, Coach. You see me Pro Live.
Yeah, I was on a roll, man, with that team.
Hey, you want to go back real quick, or you want to get into Power?
Finish up, because I want to give everybody their respect from a talent standpoint.
Most definitely. So let me just give the crowd. We're going to go back. We're talking about Team Hustle. He's going to give us a little bit more information about that squad.
Team Hustle is the University of Texas. We are using the Texas colleges. And just in case you guys didn't know, Team Money would be Baylor University. Team Hustle is Texas Longhorns. And just to kind of shore up the rest of that, you got a kid who's leading our team in touchdowns. Many people think who's leading our team, they think of Keyshawn Jackson, they think of Booby. But our leading scorer on our team is Trenton Yancey, number 1. And they were able to get him. I don't know how they got him, but they got Trenton Yancey at receiver. They have Jamarian Payne at receiver. They have a kid who we've had some issues with. He's caught probably 8 or 9 balls on us, which is Luke Mazur. who's also with the Sun Devils. And then you think about finishing up with the linemen. They have Big Rollins from the Sun Devils. They have JoJo Campbell, who is a squirt running back, man. He makes plays. Kamari Price is another running back who's hard to tackle in the phone booth. It's hard to touch him in the phone booth. They're small, but then, Kamari Price, I'm sorry about that. Kamari Price, you guys, is number 8 from CVE. If you look at his body, he's a man-child in there to it. So not only do they have some 5-star receivers, but they also got a running back who's a bell cow running back, along with Juju Carter with the Bills. He was with DFW Elite for years. He was a top 5 back. He's still that. He's just on a different team wearing different colors. He's still nice with it. This is a good draft. This is a really, really good draft. Really, really good draft. Chase Alves was one of the biggest players, made one of the biggest plays in CCE last year. And then you guys got a giant named Jeremy Cooper, who is a tight end, who is a middle linebacker. He's injured right now, but I look for him to be back in time for that game out of Pac Prime. This is a dang good draft. Done. Shout out.
Hey, Coach, you just giving out injury reports in the middle of the draft?
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back.
He's going to be there next week. You didn't change the betting.
But that's a really, really good team. So you've seen 2 for 2. Everybody might not hit home runs, but they're hitting triples. They're on base. And that's what you want when you're drafting.
I haven't seen a team that wasn't solid. Like most of these teams, as assembled as they are, would be an all-star team and be able to run through most of their competition. But let's go ahead and move on. We're on to Team Power, correct, producer?
Yeah.
All right, we've got the 2022 All-Star roster, class of 2027. Now, we got a couple of them started. We're going to go back and reread them. I'm going to leave the coaches as they were. We already got to them. So we're going to start off with the quarterbacks. We've got Peyton Houston, quarterback, DEA.
Yeah.
Then we're going to move on. We've got Damian Green Jr. He plays quarterback for the Texas Seminoles. And then we're going to move on. We've got a quarterback / DB. So this is our running quarterback here. We got Blake. Then we've got Jordan Caraway, offensive defensive line from DEA. Okay, I'm starting to see a couple of them on here, those Dragons. We've got Gage Brent. Coach, I'm going to pass that to you for that last name.
Gage Brent Lapola.
Lapola. All right, man, and he's going to be the first big lineman off the list, an offensive lineman from DEA.
Coach, they got 2 5-star linemen in the draft, and I can tell you this now, there's not a team who faces us who says that those 2, 5'2" and 5'5", don't cause problems and don't open up holes, and they were able to get them. And, I know I'm cutting you off, Channing, but
it's your draft.
We made the quarterbacks do these drafts. So think about it. When some quarterbacks said, hey, I want explosive players, I want space, and I can tell you Peyton Houston and a couple of the quarterbacks that have been around,
they made sure they was protected.
With homework first. And he knocked it out the park with those 2. He knocked it out the park with it on those 2 linemen.
Well, hey, man, building a team is just like building a house. You got to start with a good foundation, and that's always the lineman on any team. But let's get back to the list. Let me catch where I'm at. I've got Dylan Jonkin. He's a defensive tackle, offensive guard, Pac Prime. Got the chance to see him before. He's a dog. We got Noah Burblack. He plays center. We've got Flander Malone. He's a offensive lineman, defensive end from DEA. We got Carmelo Clausen, outside linebacker from DEA. We've got Devin Moody, offensive lineman, D lineman, Pac Prime. And these Pac Prime linemen, they know what they're doing. They're trained well. We've got Jacoby Dixon, running back safety from Brentham. And we've got Xavier Howard, running back linebacker from the Sun Devils. Let me get that correct. And we've got Priest Simpson, a wide receiver from the Sun Devils. We also have Braylon Hewlin. He's a cornerback, wide receiver, DEA. Joseph JoJo Thompson. Joseph JoJo Thomas. He's a running back from Louisiana. And we've got Desiree.
Darius Byerly. They call him
Byerly. And he's a scat back from DeSoto. Now, a scat back from DeSoto tells me a lot. It tells me he could put up a lot of yards. He can do a lot of all-purpose yards. And since he went to DeSoto, he's probably a two-way player, too.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get on to the next one. We have Cash. Love the name. Laurent, he's a linebacker for the Hurricanes. Cash and checks out there. And, Coach, I'm going to let you do the honors.
We call him Palomalo. 17 in Manasela. If I said it fast, that's how you say it when you think that you know how to say it, but you don't know how to say it. But Palomalo.
He's the hard-hitting kid with the hair.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a bad boy. He's thick.
Well, hey, if we don't know how to pronounce it now, we soon will after this tournament.
Tell them to send a voice message in Messenger to somebody.
Oh, yes. If we did mess up any of your kids' names, we're still going to be doing CCE. Please send us either the phonetic spelling, or you can send us a voice recording of you saying the name so we're prepared for the game. But just to move on, we've got Dylan McGee. He's a wide receiver, outside linebacker for EGB. And being an outside linebacker and a wide receiver lets me know he's physical. That's always a good thing. Jayden Brown, a slot receiver from the Louisville Chargers. Am I correct? Didn't they win battle last year for that age group?
And they are the number one team in the country, and he has been injured right now. I am putting my fingers and my hands together, hoping that his father will let him play in our event at the end of the year. He's such a great talent.
Most definitely.
Talents that other players his own age are fans of his game.
Yes. So a couple of those players, some of them are down here in Texas, but he's definitely holding down for Louisville. Hey, while I have the pleasure of introducing Louisville, I got my grandfather, Louisville's favorite son, Lou Johnson. He's in the background. He's always looking over us. But let's get back to the list. We've got Kobe Smith. He's an defensive lineman from the New Orleans Dolphins. We got Keyshawn Berry. He's an defensive lineman out of Houston, Texas. We got Kamari Prince, a wide receiver, outside linebacker. Sorry, and that last name is Price. Correction, that's Price. I was reading ahead, and he's a member of the Dolphins. And I've got Davion Evans. He's a DB out of East Texas. And I got Domingo Gutierrez. He's an offensive lineman out of San Antonio, Texas. Kobe Broussard, running back out of Louisiana. We've got, that's just a high school name. Tarkenton High. I don't know why I thought that was a high school name. He's a wide receiver and a DB from Sting Academy. That's a great program out of Louisiana. And we've got Darren Robinson. He's a rover for the Pearland Hurricanes. And don't let the title fool you. This kid can lay the wood, and he has great coverage skills. And we've got just did that one.
Brody Loudermilk.
We got Brody Loudermilk. Love that name. And he's a free safety with DEA. You want to give us a couple words about that kid?
I'm going to get to everybody whenever you finish it up.
Okay. I only got 3 more left. We got Christian De Leon. He's an offensive lineman out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We also have D. Moss. He's a wide receiver DB for the PO Hurricanes. And then we have Keelan Evans. He's a linebacker defensive end out of Oak Cliff, Texas with the Titans.
Let me break it down for you, man. And kind of keep that up there. Don't let that little thing go away.
It ain't going nowhere.
You got Damon Green Jr. You got Jabrian Blake. Jabrian Blake is somebody that people don't know about, and we had a chance to see him for a little bit in the Texas Showcase. He's with the Dallas Lions. He also plays basketball. Great athlete, still learning the game, but a playmaker on either side of the ball. He's a football player. Then you got Peyton Houston. Peyton Houston is with DEA, man, had a little bit of injuries, battling back from that. Big time baseball player and quarterback who can sling it, make plays in the pocket. Been a top 5, been a top 10 guy in the magazine. And then when you roll on into the linemen, we've already talked about the linemen. Let me talk about some of the guys besides Jayden Brown. Jayden Brown is if he's a prayer. If we get him,
Hold on real quick, Coach. I got a
yeah.
comment from a parent who wants to know if it's too late to sign up. I know that'd be important to you.
No, it's never too late. We'll work.
Okay, well, you may have missed the draft, but it's not too late to get to the action. I'm going to let you continue, Coach.
So you got Jayden Brown, who's a prayer. You hope you get him. You hope you get him. You hope you get him, man. He's dynamic. He's a big-time player. Keyshawn Berry, nice. Domingo Gutierrez, nice. Bam Byerly can play corner, can play a little bit of running back, slot, scat back. Joseph JoJo Thomas is that. Braylon Huglund out of Louisiana is a lockdown, folks. He was a big-time receiver, but in my eyes, I know corners like no other. And to me, he's going to be a 4-5-star DB that can play corner. But you see what my boy is doing right now with the Cowboys. Everybody is wanting to be a DB again. And he brings that to the table.
I don't know. They never stop paying. The kids always love
it. Then you have one of my favorites named Cash Laurent. Cash Laurent, man, is a tackling machine. And I'm telling you right now, when you play him in a game, you might as well be walking out the game from hip up because you ain't going to have no legs afterwards. He's cutting everything you got down low. We didn't get to see the best of him when we played against him because he had a broke hand. But I'm telling you, if the kid can come and his father lets him come, he's somebody who will be all around the field. You have to account for him. He's smart. He's heady. He's always a play away. He's always ahead of the play. And then you have the running back from the Sun Devils, Xavier Howard, number 20. He's nice.
Most definitely.
He's nice. But the pick, you can say Dylan Jonathan. You could talk about the 2 edge rushers that they got because they got 2 DEA edge rushers. They got my boy, Philander Malone, and they got the long-haired pretty boy, Carmelo Clausen. So if you can see, the quarterbacks did a good job of drafting. But the steal of the steal of the steal of the steal is Jacoby Dixon. Jacoby Dixon is Different. I could make a song about him. He's different. He's different, and everybody around him knows that he's different. He's drafted to team power, and he swings the pendulum. He swings the pendulum right now. In anybody's draft, he's on that team. This is a A+ draft right here. My only concern is the coaches, because none of them can coach. None of them can coach at all. None of them. Ramon Brewer, Haraway, Houston, none of them. The best coach will be the 3 quarterbacks. I'm joking, but this is a great team, folks. This is a great team right here that's been assembled. And the other 2 are great too. I just, they were able to get a guy who last year was our MVP of the whole thing. They were able to get him, so he's definitely a pendulum swinger.
Hey, Courtney, I'm gonna keep it honest with you. I'm gonna go back and clip all your dad jokes, and I'm gonna make a compilation video, you versus Pat, and we're gonna see who's better. Okay. I think you're snapping a little bit harder than he is. Okay. Usually Pat, I'm like, I can't believe he went there. But all right, man, let's get to some of these comments. We got some people showing you some love. Let's start off with Anthony Elmore. CCE, Courtney Jackson, this is this truth. Love what you're doing for your state.
That's my boy, man.
On the national level, you're killing it. Pray people appreciate what your team and your help, man.
Yeah.
And then we've got
good dude from up there in the Northwest. He came down to Texas. We clicked, hit it right off the head. And it's been good ever since, man. We've been good ever since whenever we see each other.
Okay. We got Miss Brown. Dang. I guess she was disappointed in something. We've got Coach Gonzalez, it was the first team they did. Oh, did we already do money team? Yes, man, we did do team money. As soon as we post this, the entire draft is going to stay up. You'll be able to rewind it, get the screenshots you need, and it's not too late to share it. Let's keep going.
And Team Power is going to be SMU, you guys.
SMU. So look out for that SMU logo.
The only undefeated team in Texas right now. The only undefeated.
Shout out to the Ponies, man. And that used to be an old Lamar pipeline. A lot of my former teammates ended up over there. But we'll go ahead and there was an earlier question. Somebody wanted to know what age group we're doing. They don't go by age group.
7th grade, mostly 12U kids, but we're doing by grade like FBU does. When they get to be in 6th grade, we do grade-based football, getting them ready for recruitment, seeing their recruiting class, and then seeing where they stack amongst their peers in their recruiting class. No longer doing age breakoffs that don't coincide with what UIO has. We are going strictly by what you're going to see when you play middle school ball and what you're going to be competing against for scholarships in your particular grade.
All right, man. Well, that's future preparation right there. You want to get them ready for where they're going, not for where they're at. So let's go ahead and we're going to move on to our next team. And that is going to be, I believe, Team Mamba. Great name. Let's start off with these coaches. Man, so you got a great name team with a coach who's going to start off with a great name. We've got Coach Pharrell Warren. Love that name. We got Coach Quan and Billy Sterling. That'll round off your coaches. And you know what we always say on Semi-Pro Live. It's time to get to the stars of the show. We've got Seth Schuler. He's going to play quarterback. He's that Pearland Hurricanes quarterback. He's got big game plays in his blood. We're going to go ahead and move to our second quarterback. He's not the second on the list. He's just the second quarterback that's randomly put on here. Chad Johnson. He's a quarterback for the Southside Ducks, and they're going with some nice DNA. And it seems this is the second team in a row that put that third quarterback that's one of those speedster/athletes. And we're going to have Amari Barty. He is from the Hallmark Eagles, so we got some DFW love rounding off our quarterbacks. And then we're going to get into the guys that play the other sport, the ones that got to get beat up. So we got my guy Titus Brooks. He's going to play center, and he's a presence in the middle and a field general. We got Mason Graham. He's an offense and a defensive end, DEA. And this will start off the list of the Dragons. We got Amari Vickerson, defensive tackle, DEA. We've got Jaden Morales, offensive tackle, DEA. And we've got Nelman Page, middle linebacker, running back, DEA. And then we've got Keelan Evans, outside linebacker, defensive end, Oak Cliff Titans. Then we're going to have Tayshawn Bosley, and he's a defensive tackle, fullback. Another one of those guys living the dream from CBE. We got Mac, and I believe that's Tobor, and he's DEA, another one of those patented offensive linemen. And I'm starting to see a theme with the big men on this team. We got Jay-Sean Gibson. He's a running back / slot, so that's one of those scat back athlete type guys. He's another DEA athlete. And then we've got, and Coach, I'm going to let you get this one.
Elijah Juan Houston. They call him. We actually have 2 fat daddies on the team from Fort Worth. So try to say that. I think that's not alliteration for you.
Okay.
Fat daddies from Fort Worth.
So that's probably why I didn't recognize him. We got Fat Daddy Houston from the Pac Prime. He's a running back / free safety. We've got Aiden Sterling. He's a wide receiver / free safety from the Pearland Hurricanes. And we've got Jacoby Bly, cornerback from Dallas. We've got Ajarius Finley Jr., running back DB.
Arius Finley. You call him
Arius Finley. Correction, I'm so sorry about that. Arius Finley.
He's so nice, you got to say his name right. Like,
hey, you got to. And he's one of them jackpot boys, so I really need to put some respect on his name before he run up on me.
Yeah.
You know, they like to pull up. Aaron Tanner. He's a running back from Houston. And then we got Mekhi Jones, linebacker, another one of those jackpot boys. Tyrone Brooks, linebacker from New Orleans. We've got Kamara. He's an athlete from the St. Louis Chargers. So we got another one of those number one ranked team in the nation athletes making a pop-up in CE. We've got Richardson. He's a DB slot from the Southside Ducks. Got Antonio Smith, defensive end, TCU. We've got Jordan Reed, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, NTX Bills. Got to slide to the side, show my Bills love. And got lost on the list real quick. We got Kelly Winbush. Kelly Winbush. He's a cornerback, kick returner from DEA, another one of those explosive athletes. And we'll talk about this at the end, but that's the third slot scat back type receiver I see on this roster. You'll tell us about that a little bit later. Then we've got Alvin Mosley. He's a wide receiver / DB with the Maryland Hurricanes. And I got one of my home state athletes, Brendan Quinn. He's a wide receiver / DB from the great state of Ohio. Got one of those future Buckeyes in there. And then we got Derwin Dean Jr. He's an offensive line, defensive lineman out of the great city of Houston. And then we've got Isaiah. Coach, I'm going to let you catch that last name for me.
Gregory.
Is it Gregory or is it Gregory? Gregory. And he is a slot receiver. Another one of those shifty athletes, and I'm starting to see a theme, and he's from Louisiana. And then we've got Jordan Clack. He's a linebacker looking for that Clack out of Houston. And then we've got Danielle Phillips. He's an offensive lineman from Fort Worth. And then we got another one of those NTX Bills guys, Jose Quintella from the NTX Bills. He plays offensive / defensive lineman. And then we've got Jaden Hunter, a running back / linebacker from the Raiders. Now, Coach, I'm going to let you elaborate on this. I see a lot of speed, and I see a lot of high-quality linemen. So tell me what they were thinking.
So let me say this. The coaching staff, Pharrell Warren, man, my guy out of Fort Worth. This is a Fort Worth hometown staff. Billy Starling is a Fort Worth kid. He lives in Houston with Pearland. But then you have Quan, Coach Quan. All three of those guys are going to be connected together. Pharrell is like an OG of the group. Quan has won a national championship with Crimson Tide. You know, Billy was the offensive coordinator for that Pearland Hurricane team last year that came through Texas sports and just killed everybody. And everybody said it was just Landon Kalas, but he made it pop, right?
It was a team effort.
It's team effort. And so you started off with the quarterbacks. Chad Johnson is a kid who has an August birthday. So usually with August birthdays, this is what you run into with the August birthdays. You run into – and I didn't even get a chance to say some of them other kids in the other team, but I'll let that live. But Chad Johnson is an August birthday kid who won a national title with the Southside Ducks, and now it's time for him to start playing with his grade. Let's see how you do amongst your peers instead of playing what I call down with your age. Amari Barti is a playmaker.
Hey.
And then you have one of the ultimate dime droppers in football is Seth Schuler, who is growing and getting taller, and he lit us up, man, when we played against him. And he first person he went after was a center, which tells you he's a quarterback because he's in shotgun and he wants the ball get snapped. And Titus Brooks, who's a top tier lineman. Then you go see Mason Graham, and hats off to Mason Graham, man. He's going through a lot. He lost his father going to COVID, and he's a kid who's young. He lost his father, so my condolences to him and his family still to this day. In that situation, Amari Vickerson is coming off of an injury, who's getting back healthy and strong right now with DEA. Is a top profile lineman. But they got a linebacker named Neiman Page, folks. I'm telling y'all, he's special. Neiman Page. Then you go through the list and then you say the name Tashawn Bosley. If you don't know who Tashawn Bosley is, then you don't watch 12U football. He's with the CBE. He wears 00 or number 0. He plays fullback and he plays D line, and you cannot tackle him with one guy. He is a monster. Arius Finley is like tackling him in space is like trying to corral a water balloon dipped in baby oil. It's impossible. You won't hold on to it. That is him. Then you got one of the legends at running back, a DEA guy, and I hate saying DEA, but Fat Daddy, I can't go without saying Fat Daddy. He is nice with it. He's slippery and he's sly. He moves and he starts. He stops and starts. I say he has more stop and starts than a bus route. A dart bus route. Elijah Juan Houston. He plays running back, Fat Daddy, but I think his future will be at free safety because he will bang you like nobody else. The steal, and it's another time you got to touch your hands again. Sekou Kamara, maybe, arguably, the best football player in 2027 with the Louisville Chargers. Please let them come.
Hey, look, Coach.
Yeah, you got.
Let's just act like he's coming, get everybody else to sign up, and then maybe we'll apply some peer pressure.
And then they got Aiden Starling. Aiden Starling, man, is a 5-star receiver. So this team is nice. This team is very, very nice. I look for this team to be physical and quick. This is Team Mamba. CCE Team Mamba 2027. Good draft. Really, really
great
good
draft. Well, let's let some of these parents jump on here with some of their comments. We've got Rosalind Monroe. I'm not going to pronounce that last one. I want to mess it up. Been a part of this wonderful program for years. Iron sharpens irons. We love CCE. That's the comments I'm used to seeing about this event. I don't know what bad ones you were talking about. I guess you're trying to be humble.
All right, then we checks in the mail.
Coach,
checks in the mail.
Checks in the mail. All right, we've got B, the favorite. She said, "Let's go, Amari Bartrey, Amari Bartrey and Anthony Bartrey." So she got 2 elite athletes in here. Okay, it's a family affair. Trying to get my sons like that. And then we got Colin Rogers saying, "Courtney Jackson, what's good? Love what you're doing. Keep it up." We've got Brittany. She says, 5th grade team yet? No, not yet. I believe we'll have that. That'll be a completely different draft. We want each group of class of kids to get their shine. So we're going to go ahead and do them on a separate night. And for my last comment before we move back to the draft. Oh, that was Anthony again. Oh, this is Miss Brown. How can we watch it back from the beginning? As soon as the draft ends, it'll all be saved on the internet, and you'll be able to start from the beginning to rewatch it again. And I'm sorry about that. We may do a second airing after we complete the recording during the day so that parents, when you're at work, you can pick up your phone and have an opportunity to see it live again. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next portion of the draft with Team Greatness. Love the name. And first of all, I want to compliment you on these names. These are some great names for the teams. All the jerseys look fresh. I would want a jersey that said Mamba or Greatness across the chest. So let's get on to the coaches. So we're going to have Coach Crockett, Tory Crawford, and this next coach, I know he's got to be some kind of coaching genius because we've got a Channing sighting, so he must be amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Channing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You got 3 good coaches right there. Coach Crockett is somebody who's been around, man. I did not even know him, Channing, 4 years ago. We met. He had a nephew in it, and I love his energy, man. To coach Little League football when you're not getting compensated and you have the energy, and it's not about you. It's about the kids and everything else with it. My hat goes off to Crockett. Tory Crawford has been a defensive coordinator running with the DFW Elite for years. They've won back-to-back national titles. in there to it. So he's going to bring a toughness and just a nastiness to that defense working with him. And then Larkin has a son that plays, and he also knows line play. So that's going to be a good, solid, well-rounded team, especially when they bring on their assistant coaches to the staff. So I'm ready for you to go ahead and announce it so we can get to the kids.
All right, Coach. Now, you really wanted to say Coach Channing, but it's okay. I'll let you get away with the Larkin. Anyway, let's get to the action. We're going to start off with your three quarterbacks. We've got Trey Williams. We got Kyrie. I believe that's Hoyt. Hoyt. All right. We got Derek McLaren. I'm sorry. My producer's switching out what I'm reading off of after she zoomed in, and I can't find anything. Let's get it back. Okay. So we have Trey Williams. I'm sorry. I'm going to start over on my own list because that list isn't the same as the list that you just put on the screen. Sorry about that, folks at home. So we're going to start off with Tashard Brown. He's the first quarterback on our list, not necessarily our first overall pick.
That's the wrong group.
Oh, so she didn't even have it on the right one. All right, so we're on witness.
No, we're on
greatness. We're on greatness. Okay,
Williams, so Tyrese Hoyt,
Derek McLaren. And then we've got now let me go back and give the teams for those. So Trey Williams is a defensive end slash quarterback. A Lightning elite quarterback.
Yeah.
Correction. And then we've got Hoyt. He's part of that infamous Jackpot Boys. And Derek McLaren, he's a quarterback slash DB out of Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Now we've got Dallas.
Derek.
Oh, I skipped one. Sorry about that. We got Derek Glerson, and he's with the Pac Prime. He's a defensive tackle, offensive guard. We also have Dallas. He's an offensive lineman from the Mesquite Mustangs, a fine program. They've been doing some big things in their season this year. We've got Daniel Oyster. He's the center for the NTX Bills. And then we've got another Channing sighting. Oh, man, you telling me Channing makes offensive linemen? I got to see his son's clips. We're going to have to compare. Anyway, we got Channing naming his son Channing Lark Jr., which is like the greatest thing you can do. He's out of the great city of Houston, offensive, defensive lineman. We've got Juan Jimenez. And actually, this is one of my great... Jimenez. I was going to say, I actually know his father. I believe we played football together with the NTX Stampede. But we're going to move forward. He's an offensive tight end and a outside linebacker with the Pac Prime. We got my boy Jasper, linebacker slash wide receiver from the Shreveport Lions. We've got Kobe Rayo from the Pearland Hurricanes, one of those big-time offensive linemen. We've got Noah Smith. He's with the Pearland Hurricanes as well. He's going to be playing offensive guard. I'm interested to see if they're going to be on the same side. And then we've got Kendra Porter. He's on the Southside Ducks playing running back. And then we've got Ingram of Pac Prime. He's a running back slash linebacker. And then we're going to have DeMonte. And he's on DeMonte Wealth. He's a wide receiver slash outside linebacker from the Lightning Elite. And I believe we had the pleasure of covering them a couple of weeks ago. Shout out to 35 North. Darius Watson. He's a DA athlete. He's a wide receiver slash free safety. And we've got Landon Kalas. He's a Pearland Hurricane, running back slash free safety. A lot of Hurricanes on this list. And Christopher Coleman, and he's a New Weller. Well, that's the team he's on. He's a running back. And then we've got Baker. He's a running back slash running back from DeSoto, Texas. Got Tyson Burns, Louisiana. He's a linebacker from La Wave. Then we've got Tyson Burns. Actually, I just did that one. Sorry about that. Diego Mendoza. He's a tight end from the Raiders. And then we've got Chase Crockett. I don't know why it was stuck on the tip of my tongue. He's another one of those athletes from La Wave. And then we've got Thibodeau, a DEA, defensive end / tight end. Another one of those Dragon sightings. And then we've got Reginald Houston. He's a tackle / offensive guard out of Houston. We got Charles Anderson. Actually, let me open this up. I think his nickname is Lil Woo Woo. Or I can't. You got the nickname, Coach?
Lil Woo.
Lil Woo. We get nicknames and all. So let's get down to him. It always gets like this once I'm towards the end. I'm sorry. It just refreshed. Okay. And he is out of... I'm sorry, my list just refreshed. And...
Charles Anderson's out of... He plays with the OC Titans.
OC Titans. Here, get it back to where it was at. Thank you. Sorry, now I'm back. Okay, he's out of the OC Titans, out of Oak Cliff. And then we've got... Now, this one literally says this. Tall kid. And if that is his real name...
And I'm gonna tell you what that is. It's a kid that everybody has told me about, and I've asked everybody to give me the kid's name. He plays for the Scottsdale Ducks. And I have to be able to... He plays on their 12U team. Everybody will tell me, and then I'll say, man, what's the kid's name? So I don't know. And they just say the tall kid, and they give me the complexion of the kid, but nobody will give me the kid's name. And so I'm still working my butt off to be able to get the kid name so I can give him a formal
You know what? We can actually help with that. Andrew Turner, I played semi-pro football with him a little bit. I believe we're friends on Facebook, so I'm going to go ahead and reach out to him. Hey, we got to figure out who that tall kid is, man. We're trying to give him some shine. Also, Chris Russell, I know his son plays on that same Southside Ducks team, so hopefully they can get us a little bit of help and help us get that kid his proper shine.
Marco, give me the kid's name.
Yeah. Oh, we got another Channing sighting. Hey, this team is winning the championship. I don't know how you don't win. They got 3 Channings on the list, 2 on the roster. So we got Channing Gardner out of the DFW. He's an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman. Oh, man, he needs to train with my son, man. Y'all local? All right, so we got Dominic Warner out of San Antonio. He plays for the Texas Seminoles, and he's a tight end. So we're going to talk about him because he's specialized. He didn't put it in the defense line, so I'm going to expect soft hands from him. Then we also got Romello Robinson. He's out of Houston. He's with the Galveston County Sun Devils. He's a wide receiver / corner. And we got Roderick Joyner. He's from Louisville, Texas. He's a defensive lineman. And we've got James Thomas Marshall. He's with the Marshall Mavericks. He plays defensive end. And Caden Foster of the Pac Prime, wide receiver / cornerback. And we got Frank. Hey, no, this is my dog. I had the privilege of covering Big Frank all summer with Premier Events with AYG. But
Frank. Everybody loves Frank, right?
Hey, that's Big Frank. I ain't going to say his last name. He Big Frank. So we got Big Frank out here of the NTX Bills. And then just to round it off, we got Robert White Jr. He's a running back / linebacker. I don't have his information, but I think we should start with him just to find out where he's from.
He's from Calvary Baptist.
Calvary Baptist, fine program.
Mm-hmm. Calvary Baptist. And so let me get into this draft, man, and put this out there. This is going to be a dang good team, man. Trey Williams is 5-star written all over him. A quarterback. He's probably going to be a draftable kid in baseball. He's a talent. Reese Hort is growing faster than the weeds grow on the side of the freeway. He's almost 6 feet tall. He can be a defensive end, tight end, but he can also sling the ball, and he is a field general. He was the DFW League's quarterback last year. He's playing with I-35 Jackpot boy. So you know his commitment to football is big whenever you're living in Dallas, but you're playing on a team from your hometown area of anywhere between Oklahoma City all the way up to Wichita, Kansas. That's Reese. Derek McCullough is a top 5 kid 2 or 3 years ago in the magazine. Nobody works harder than this kid. I mean, he's in and out like the burger on whatever he's doing. Then you got some kids, man. Dallas Escobado is a kid that I wanted, did not get. He's a tough-nosed lineman, works hard with the Mesquite. I think he's with the Mesquite Mustangs. Derek Gleason, Baby D or Big D, as they call him. My God, he wears that fofo and ain't nothing about him tipping. He's a bad boy. He's one of my favorite linemen.
Pat, Courtney on your neck.
Huh?
Courtney on your neck with the jokes right now, Pat. You're going to have to come with it next week.
Yeah. Daniel Oyster's going to get the ball back to you. You got Juan Jimenez. Juan Jimenez, man, is a terror. I've seen this kid play tight end. I've seen him play outside linebacker. I've seen him get a running back. I've seen him almost run kickoffs back. He is a talent. Then you have the linemen from Pearland. These are their best 2 linemen, and they've always been like this. And they were able to get drafted to the same team. That's big. Noah Smith and Kobe Rayo are anchors. They've been anchors with CCE. They've been anchors in Houston. You can't talk about linemen in Texas without mentioning those 2 names. Keontae Ingram with the Pac Prime. Man, like, you want to talk about cutback lanes and you want to talk about vision, next man vision, running hard, playing linebacker, being a dog. When this kid is healthy, he is special. He's had a couple ankle injuries and stuff like that, but when he's healthy, he is somebody you got to circle in the game plan. Darius Watson. Hey, man, I'm not going to say nothing else about that kid. D-Man is one of our best players. D-Man is a player, and he is going to be a coach's favorite. I can guarantee you that. King Thibodeau makes plays. Reginald Malvo is a kid who's been playing up, who will get a chance to play with his grade. He should dominate. Dominic Warner is a possession receiver that everybody wants. Frank McChristian is somebody everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Seeing how he plays with his grade. This is his challenge. Sarad Baker and Tyson Burns are going to hit you in the mouth. Crockett is another good receiver. The tall kid from Southside Ducks will be a matchup nightmare because he's over 6 feet tall. And then you have this, folks. You have Deontay Megatron Weathers with Lightning Elite. I wanted him so bad. I wanted him. His mother knows I wanted him, but he made a good choice of playing with Trey. They have a great connection there, and their chemistry is great. That's going to be a nice situation. But here's the thing. I nicknamed the guy. I found this guy. I'm not going to say I found him like he was already known, but he wasn't known on the national circuit. His name is Landon Kalas. He's one of few players that is a highlight film watching his film. You don't have to get cut-ups. You don't have to make cut-ups of Landon Kalas. His film is already a cut-up because it's already a highlight. That's how special he is. I nicknamed him Black Jesus for a reason because I've seen more people have to call on Jesus. Because I'm telling you, 4th and 17, 3rd and 24, you give the ball to Black Jesus, and he will deliver. He will deliver. That mean, man, hey.
Well, hey, man.
Hold on.
You got more. Hold on.
It's one more secret to the pie. There's a kid named Kendra Porter. He arguably, Channing, would be a top 5 pick in the 2026 draft, but he's in 7th grade. He plays on the Southside Ducks 13U and is arguably the best player on their 13U, who Southside Ducks have a top 5 program, Jamarco,
in the country.
In the country. So can you imagine a backfield where you got a bigger, stronger, not sure if he's faster than Landon Kalas. Landon Kalas is probably one of the fastest kids in the world for his age. But But can you imagine a backfield where you can't key on Landon Kalas because there's another kid just as good as Landon Kalas, and then there's quarterbacks that can get the ball to you, that can direct down the field, and they have receivers that can go deep and make plays.
And each one of these teams,
A plus draft for this team. A plus draft.
what I like about each one of these teams is their selections fits the personalities of the coaches. And you don't see that a lot in all-star games. So that's something that you guys made special just for this event. But let's go ahead and move it on. I know a lot of folks have been waiting. Don't think your kid wasn't selected because we still got one more team left to go. Now, these picks aren't in any particular order. If you're on Team Witness, it means the same thing as being on Team Money. These orders were at random. What were you saying, Coach?
No, I was just trying to make sure that y'all had put, I don't know if the last pick on the draft was on that draft board when I saw it earlier. Just want to make sure on the spreadsheet.
I got a last name that starts with an E, Coach.
Yes.
We on the same page?
Yes.
Oh, yes, we are.
Good.
All right, without any further ado, let me make sure, yeah. Okay. And first name starts with the E, last name starts with the G.
Yes.
Okay, I got it correct. All right, so let's go ahead and get down with the coaches. We've got Aaron Sands, Ed Crowley, and Coach, I'm going to let you pronounce that one.
Coach P.
Coach P. So I don't feel guilty.
Coach P.
All right, well, let's get into what them and their quarterback staffs came up with. As I'm reminding you, no particular order. We've got Nathaniel Singleton playing quarterback of the New Orleans Dolphins. Love this next name. We've got Maximus Dennison. He's a quarterback / free safety from DeSoto, Texas. We've got Tyrone Watson. He's a quarterback / linebacker. That is an interesting combination. That lets me know he's got nice size. And he's of the Sacramento Ducks. So we've got Aiden Croach Mentor. He's a DA kid. He's a defensive lineman / offensive lineman.
Let me say this. They call him Gooch. It's Aiden Gooch Minor. He arguably is the baddest D tackle in football. Number 88.
Small story. I used to stay back in a dorm room called the Gooch way back in the day in Navarro. But anyways, back to the action. We've got Gage Murphy. He plays center. He's from Denton, Texas. We've got Xavier Perry. He's out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Another one of those Sting Academy athletes. Mm-hmm. We've got Xavier Perry. He's another. Well, actually, that's the same one. I messed up. We got Kerry Lewis, the third. He's a DEA athlete, another one of those Dragons. We've got Williams of the DFW Ravens. He's going to play middle linebacker and power back. Seen that kid once before. We've got Kobe Jackson, another Raven. He's going to play linebacker / running back. Jaden Freeman. Now, I don't know. Is it Jaden Freeman the seventh?
No, he's Jaden Freeman, number 7.
Number 7, okay. We might have a second one. I was going to be proud for a black man getting 7 generations with the same name. I was proud of him for a second. I was like, I see you, brother. Now, anyway, we'll keep it moving. We got Kendrick Perkman from Mississippi. He's an offensive guard. We've got Hunter Crowley. He's another one of these Dragon athletes. He plays running back / outside linebacker. We got Jeremiah Douglas. He's a running back from Lightning Elite. And then we've got Ethan Foster, another one of the.
Ethan Feaster. You got to say
Feaster.
You got to put some respect on his name.
Let me go back. Ethan Feaster, DEA wide receiver / defensive back. Please forgive me. And as I said earlier in this, parents, I'm doing the game as well. If this was bad, let me make sure it's perfect when it's game time and we got the highlights going. If I messed up on your child's name, please send a voice recording of the proper pronunciation, or please send over the phonetics to our inbox. All right, so we're going to keep it moving. And that was Feaster. and he was a wide receiver / defensive back DEA. We got Bryson Mathis of the Lightning Elite, another one of those slot receiver / cornerbacks. Then we've got Nate Green of the Sting Academy. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that one. Is that just his numbers, some special?
It was a typo. It was a typo in there.
Okay, so just had to make sure. We got Joshua Reyes. He is of the DEA, and he plays fullback and defensive lineman. Another kid living the dream. We got Zach East, and he's on the NTX Bills out of Dallas. He plays middle linebacker. Now, is his last name East hyphenated Dallas?
His name is Zach East.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Don't want to mess up for anybody. We got Trayshawn Butler of Houston, Texas, and he plays nose. Is that nose guard? I got an N.
No. Trayshawn Butler plays. Let me see what position. I don't know why I don't have his position on it.
He had a long name. It went over a little bit over the line on the spreadsheet.
I'll get to it in just a second.
No problem. Hey, we're going to come back and circle back around and make sure we get that. Oh, you got it?
He plays outside linebacker.
And he's an outside linebacker. Okay, just to keep it moving. And that was Trayshawn Butler from Houston. We got Jerry Outhouse of the DFW Ravens. Then we've got Hart, and he's I have Hart / Michigan City.
Yeah, that's where he's from, Michigan City, Indiana.
Michigan City, Indiana. Okay, and he's a wide receiver / DB. Definitely got a national appeal to this list. Vincent Cooper of the North Texas Bills. He's a defensive end / tight end. And then we got Tyson Matthews of the DFW Ravens. He's another one of those offensive defensive linemen. They're spread all over this draft. We've got Akeem. I'm going to let you get that one, Coach.
Mimite.
We got Akeem Mimite of the DFW Ravens. Another one of those great linemen.
No, he's out of Louisiana.
Excuse me. Of Louisiana. He's a wide receiver / DB. Sorry about that correction. We got Cedric Thompson of the New Orleans Dolphins. He's a cornerback / receiver. And we have Gerald Critton. He's out of Dallas. He's on the DFW Ravens, and he's a nose guard, big man in the middle. We got Isaiah of the NTX Bills. He plays defensive end / tight end, so we got a big man with soft hands. And we've got Jackson McCorkey. Did I get that correct? McCorkle. Sorry for that mispronouncing. Of the NTX Bills, a defensive end / tight end. Correction.
Jackson McCorkle's out of Galveston. Isaiah Udom is from he's a tight end, defensive end. He's out of the NTX Bill. That's Joe White's son.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Joe. Please forgive me. Let me redo this. We got Isaiah Odom of the North Texas Bills with that selection. He's a tight end / defensive end. And then we have Jackson, who is a offensive line / defensive line out of the great city of Galveston. Then we've got Contavious Price. That's a name I remember. A wide receiver / DB from RDU. Some Georgia talent on the board. And we got Ricardo Trammell, and he's with the DFW Ravens. Sorry about that. Slot receiver / scat back. And then we've got Dominic Lee Jr., defensive line, New Orleans Dolphins. Tylen Henderson, and he's from Austin. He's a running back. Yeah. And then I've got DeJuan Johnson of Louisiana, and this kid's an athlete. He does it all, defense, offense, and a kick returner. And we've got Elvis Gonzalez, offense, defensive lineman. And this is my dog right here, because I've been here. He's from Sweetwater, Texas.
Yeah.
Or do I call Agua Dulce?
Putting his dad down on stuff instead of putting him down. but it's Christian Gonzalez out of Sweetwater.
Oh, okay. Christian
So
Gonzalez out of
let me get
Sweetwater.
into this one, man. Um, First of all, Thorne Watson. This kid was with the Oak Cliff Seminoles for a couple years. His dad moves to the Sacramento area in California, and all of a sudden, I don't know if he took a blue pill instead of a red pill, but his body changed overnight. If I show you a picture of him, you would swear up and down he's 16 years of age. He's about 6 feet tall, 5'10" or so. His arms are long. He's muscular. He can throw the ball from one goal line to the other 30 with ease.
Most
Then you have a
definitely.
kid named Maximus Denston. It used to be Maximus the Great. He is still the great. He's 5'10", 5'11" right now. Hands bigger than a pitcher's mitt, and he's slinging the ball around. Then you got Nathaniel Singleton. You got three strong quarterbacks, man, that can make plays, and all of them can play other spots. Then you go right into linemen, and you see how the linemen are. When you get Aiden Gooch Minor, he's an anchor of anybody's team. You go Gage Murphy, somebody who's dependable at the center spot. Then you got Xavier Perry and Kerry Lewis, who's with DEA. Braylon Williams, Beast Mode, a.k.a. Beast Mode, a.k.a. my favorite. Man, he's special. His little brother is even more special. I'm teasing him. But he's a bad boy. His little brother's BJ with TNS. He's a bad boy. He's gonna get drafted really high as well. Then you got Kobe Jackson, Jaden Freeman, Kendrick Perkman. Hunter Crowley's a guy that came in from Connecticut, or not Connecticut. Where are the Boston? Where is New England? From New England. And he comes down here. He lives in Allen. He jumps on DEA, and he's instantly one of our top 10 players, top 5 players around there. He's a beast. He's the one that threw up the deuces when he ran past Pearland for 50 yards to bust open the game, starting the game off. That's that guy. Jeremiah Douglas is like silk. He's the smoothest guy around. Then you got a guy, Bryson Mathis, who people try, but when you try him, I promise you, little deuce makes you pay. He's also one of those guys. He's like a little Speedy B. Ooh, did I do that? He got those kind of moves. Joshua Reyes is a bully. You think that he's not what he's going to do, but he's going to do it. Zach East is another bully. Jerry Outhouse is a lockdown corner. Kyron Hart is special. He's not following in his brother's footsteps. He's special in his own right. Vincent Cooper is an unsung hero. King Mimite is an athlete that everybody needs to know about. Jarrell Crittenton is undersized, but he's hard to block. Isaiah Udom is big time at defensive end. Quintavious Price, Ricardo Tremel is somebody who's in and out, got real good routes. Dominic Lee is a great lineman. Tyler Henderson's been a solid running back. And Christian Gonzalez, who's not on this list, and that's my bad, you guys, for not having that stuff. I thought I told you, but I didn't. The email never got sent. Christian Gonzalez is somebody who, man, we wanted on with DEA. Very, very solid, nasty lineman. And then if I didn't forget him, but I didn't say him, I gotta say Ethan Booby Feaster. Man, they were able to get a future 4 or 5-star player onto their team. I see all these drafts as being A drafts. Some may be A plus, some may be A minus, but it's all going to come down to the kids, and that's what I love most about it. Great coaching staff as well, besides Ed Crowley.
Well, these are some very evenly matched teams. I'm excited to see these matchups. And what I like the most is that each one of these coaching staff made sure that their style and their personality is going to reflect into the play on the field and the style of team that they're going to have control over. So I'm excited for the matchups. We got some big name talents, man. We're going to have to go ahead and make sure you tune in for the other classes. We're going to be doing this as many times as possible to get these picks out here for the parents. So stay tuned to Semi-Pro Live. Let's swing back over here to Coach, man. So tell us a little bit more about what it took to put all this together.
A lot. Still a lot more to do and go. DEA has a big game against the top 10 team from California coming in this weekend, but I'm still working on drafts, attending weddings in other places, still trying to do this. And you know it, Shannon. It's a never-ending process with me. but I love this time of the year. This is where I'm able to start seeing these kids, learning about these kids, and I just hope that everybody's able to do it. I hope that everybody can understand that me coaching DEA has nothing to do with anything else with CCE. DEA is his own entity. CCE is my baby. DEA was an opportunity, um, and we took advantage of that opportunity. I'm really excited to see these teams. I'm happy to see so many DEA, so many Pearland Hurricanes, so many Galveston Sun Devils, so many DFW Ravens, so many Pac Prime, Lightning Elite, all these top programs that we talk about and people argue about on there. They have many of their kids spread out through here in it. We have some kids from San Diego. We have some kids from Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas, Ohio, um, Connecticut, Virginia, Indiana, just to name some of the states in there, along with Georgia and Mississippi and Louisiana. It's going to be great, man. It's going to be great. Each draft has been awesome so far. I encourage the parents to send in those pictures so that we can do a better job of having the production of showing all the headshots. But we have to do it in a timely manner. If you don't do it in a timely manner, then it throws off everything that production is trying to do. I thank you guys for listening to me and my ideas. And I'm looking forward to doing this again and talking about more talented kids and introducing them to the masses.
Well, hey, first, I want to thank you for letting us be in a part of this. Second, I want to thank all the parents for forgiving me for my phonetics and how I messed up a couple of names. Now, speaking of those names, like I said, we're going to be doing the draft. Or if you think that your name may be a difficult one for me to pronounce for one of the future drafts, I won't get offended. Inbox me directly, Channing Humphrey, or inbox us on Semi Pro Live. We will do our very best to make sure that name is pronounced correctly in the way it's supposed to. But outside of that, man, it's been a great experience so far. A lot of big name kids I've gotten the privilege of watching them play 7-on-7 all season. And I'm excited to see what this all-star game is going to turn out. Well, not all-star game, this tournament, how it's going to turn out. Now, speaking of your game is on Sunday night or Saturday night?
Sunday, we're playing before the Cowboys. It was a conflict between the NFL and us, and they decided to put our game first, and then they're gonna put the Cowboy game second. So we went along with it for CBS and Semi-Pro Live purposes. We decided to put the game at 12. It'll start at about 12:15 Eastern, sort of how those NFL games started, like 12:07. That's when our game will start. It'll be DEA versus the pilots from Wilmington. Great coaching staff, great people of their word. They told us if we took care of business in California, they would definitely come down here and play against us. And they honored their word to it. So shout out to Coach Jack and his staff and their talented team. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be Ariel Anderson Stadium in Mansfield, 12 o'clock. Get there for the gate. We're looking to try to get a couple undercards. If you know anybody who wants to get a call out game, I'll cover the referees and stuff if you want to do it. Let me know.
Chris is legit. Excuse me. Courtney is legit. Let me stop. I was thinking about Chris Russell, Southside Ducks.
Yeah, we kind of favor. Ain't that right, Chris? Yeah.
If we weren't on voice chat, maybe. But we're going to have that game live on Semi Pro Live. I'm looking forward to getting our first opportunity to seeing this Dragons team up close and personal. I'm expecting a big game. And outside of that, that's going to end our broadcast from tonight. I'm going to swing back to Coach. Do you have any final things that you want to add?
I want to put a poll in there, and I would really love to be able to see who they think had the best draft out of this.
We can do that.
I would love to be able to see the people's poll because a lot of times they'll look at a couple names and they won't look at everything, and they'll think that those names. And let me say this: nobody knew about Jacoby Dixon last year. Nobody did, besides the people in Brenham. And when he got out here and he ran that 4.77 electronic time in the 40, everybody knew about him. And so I'm excited, man, just to see the talent that I think is going to be in here. And I really, really want to try to help everybody get here. So those parents who were having some trepidations about the finances, definitely holler at me. We have a great fundraiser that we're going to be doing for you guys that will be able to help secure your opportunity of being here and being able to take care of your lodging as well.
Well, hey, I also have another recruit. Big shout out to Jamari from the great state of Mississippi. I know his mother's watching right now. She's probably going to be in your inbox wanting to find out how she can become a part of this All-Star game because that's how she
Okay.
gets down. And she likes to travel to Texas.
There it
And plus,
is.
Greeny, she won a bet yesterday, and Greeny had to give her $100. So I think we got that flight taken care of. But until next time, I want to thank my illustrious host, Coach Jackson. I want to thank CCE. It's a great program. This is a great event. If you didn't make the draft, make sure your kids get signed up for it. It's not too late. And outside of that, we'll see you guys next time on Semi-Pro Live. We'll be live again on Wednesday for Wednesday Night Lights. See y'all next
CCE.
time. CCE.